Is cheating ever forgivable? Welcome back to After Our Happy Hour. We are your chaotic but cathartic co-hosts. I'm Sharon.
I'm Vicky.
I'm Jamila.
So today we wanted to talk about the topic of cheating. Have we ever been cheated on? Have we ever cheated? All the juicy questions. So let's just dive straight into it.
So what do you guys consider cheating to be?
I mean, the obvious answer is, anything physical with someone outside of your significant other.
I said that if two people are in an open relationship and they define that, fine. That's on you guys, like you do you. But if two people are in a relationship or exclusive or whatever, and it isn't explicitly stated that we can date around and the other person doesn't know, then I think that would be considered cheating.
Okay, I have a question. So we're talking about more like the physical aspect, right? But what if you're in a relationship with someone and one person or even both people, they start liking someone else or they start developing feelings for someone else? Would you guys consider that as cheating?
Yes.
100%. Yeah. I think it's not as serious as physical cheating. If my partner comes up and was like, hey, I think I'm growing feelings for this person, I wouldn't be like, okay, bye, I'm leaving this relationship. It would be a discussion before it gets to that, versus if I figured out that you made out with another person, I'll be like, bye. That's the end of the relationship. No discussion needed.
See, for emotional cheating, I do believe in the term,
Mm-hmm.
but let's say for whatever reason you start developing feelings for someone else while you're in a relationship. Sometimes it happens. I feel like it's more common than people
Yeah.
talk about. So in that situation, I think it depends on how you handle it. So let's say you're in denial and you're emotionally unavailable to your current SO and you just try to figure things out by being sus and whatever. I think that's emotional cheating. But if you're straight up honest, take a step back and take time on your own to figure it out, then even though it's considered emotional cheating, potentially you're still going about it in the ethical way, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else because Sharon said exactly what I wanted to say, word for word. So let's just move on to the next question.
Okay, so I have a kind of two-part, maybe three-part question. Let's say you are in a relationship, okay, and you go out one night and you black out. Next day, you wake up and you obviously don't remember anything, and someone tells you you made out with someone. So, first of all, regardless of what happened, can we all agree that that's cheating?
Yes.
I'm hesitant on that one.
Okay, second part, if you really think about it, you genuinely don't remember what happened and you don't know why it happened. How do you go about that? Do you think it's excusable? What do you do?
I'm gonna think of myself as the cheater, as the person who blacked out and did the cheating. And I think even in that case, I don't think it's excusable because I feel like if I have certain tendencies or something like that might happen when I'm drunk, I shouldn't have put myself in that situation where it could happen.
Why are you unsure about it, Vicky?
Because I feel like the situation also depends on the person that they were making out with. So, for example, if that person was sober, I would say it's on the fault of that sober person who this cheating person made out with. They for sure 100% took advantage.
But what if the sober person didn't know that the other person was in a relationship?
Even then, like, I would not make out with someone who's blacked out, especially if I don't know them like that. I feel like that's a low key taking advantage of the situation if you're completely sober. But then on like the cheater's end, I feel like one, I agree with don't get blacked out if you think you're gonna make out with someone. So it's just like if you're blacked out and you make out with someone, does that say something about your relationship? I would kind of have that thought. And then two, I'm just like, I know someone who's a chronic cheater when they're blacked out, but then the most loyal person when they are sober, which I'm like, how does that make sense? But she like always did something bad when she blacked out, and so she never would black out. But then, the occasional times that she did, she would fuck up.
Okay, so I have a theory as to why I asked that. So let's say I'm with the love of my life, and let's say I blacked out. He's not with me, and someone tries to make out with me. My theory is that even in my most drunk, blasted self, my instincts will kick in and I'll like punch him in the throat. But on the contrary, my theory is that let's say if I'm in an unstable relationship or I'm not confident in it for whatever reason, that's ultimately still on me for not communicating with my SO, right? But regardless, let's say I was blacked out and someone tried to make out with me, I feel like in my unstable state of mind, that could potentially happen. So I do think that it's ultimately where you stand in the relationship that maybe even if you don't remember, you could have stopped it or you could have let it happen. But I know none of us have, so I don't know what to base it off of, but that's just my theory.
But then also, when you're blacked out, you're still yourself, you know? In the moment, super, super drunk and blacked out, you're still kind of aware of your actions. You just forget about it when you wake up. I don't think necessarily when you're blacked out, you're just like completely out of it. Just because I've been close to blacking out and I still like know what I'm doing, I just forget about it the next morning until something triggers a memory, right? But I think you're still yourself. And so if you cheat, it kind of says something. So maybe I take back my statement about I'm hesitant, like it is cheating.
I don't really know because I've only browned out, and even when I've browned out, I actually don't remember what I did. So, like, I can't compare it to blacking out.
Yeah, see, I would agree with Sharon's example earlier. If I was with the love of my life, I would think that no matter how drunk I am or blacked out, I wouldn't have any intentions or want tendencies to even lay my eyes on the other guy.
Yeah.
So I guess it's dependent on you as a person while you're drunk and what kind of relationship that you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not put the theory to the test.
Yeah. Let's not.
So next question is, have you ever been cheated on, or have you ever cheated or been close to be the cheater? I mean, for me, I've never been cheated on.
I think emotionally, maybe. Like emotionally considered other people.
When?
I think majority with we had a very rocky relationship near like the last half, and so there was a point where we were technically broken up, but it wasn't clear cut. We were just confused, and at that point I was like, you know, kind of moving on already, and then my mindset of other people and not even considering him, that was one. I wouldn't say this is cheating because I immediately after it happened, I texted my ex about it, but I slept in the same bed with someone during like it sounds really bad, but it was just like a sleepover between a bunch of friends, and then we ended up on the same bed and we knocked out. And the next morning I woke up and I felt hella guilty even though I didn't do anything wrong. Nothing happened. We just slept on the same bed, and I immediately texted my ex and was like, "Oh my god, I know you won't like to hear this, but we slept on the same bed, so sorry." Wow, am I a shitty person?
Would you consider as cheating if your SO slept in the same bed as another girl or guy?
I wouldn't, but it depends. I think my situation was really bad because the person that I slept in the bed with was also my ex.
Juicy.
Yeah.
See, if your SO sleeps on another bed with someone else but doesn't do anything, I don't know if that explicitly means that you cheated. I just think, like, why? Just sleep on the floor, bro.
Yeah.
What if it was a group of people on the same bed, like 4 people?
Then you better be sleeping next to your best friend. See, because in your state of mind, you know that you probably won't do anything with that guy. You probably were like, oh, it's fine, which
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. See, I think in my head, it was just he's sorry to that person, but he's such a nobody in my life that even if I slept next to him, like nothing would have happened. Versus like in my ex's mind, it probably looked hella sus. But I'm very thankful that immediately the next morning I was like, hey, no, you don't want to hear this, but this happened. And then he was very, I don't like it, but I understand and it's fine. And it didn't cause any like issues. It was not even an argument. I think it helps that I immediately was like, it's not something I want to hide from you. Like I did it and it happened, but you know. Have you guys been cheated on?
See, I'm going to contradict myself because earlier I said cheating is when two people are together and something happens where
Oh.
it's not consensual. But the thing is, at the same time, I don't know if what happened to me, I considered cheating.
I would.
Oh. Like, if someone asked me about it, I never said, oh, he cheated on me.
I feel like with your situation, I would more say he like done fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it really also depends how you feel and how you classify what you and the other person have. Because I think for you, you didn't classify it as something serious. It was just we dated.
Oh, during the time I did, though.
Oh.
Yeah. Girl, do you not remember during that time I was not okay?
Oh, okay, that's true. That's true.
But I would consider that cheating because I think there was a level of exclusivity. How do you say it?
Exclusivity?
I would say there was a level of you guys were exclusive for each other. And so that I would consider cheating because you hold a responsibility and loyalty to whatever you guys had, even if it wasn't a set relationship, you know?
Yes.
You want to explain what happened, you know, context?
Okay, so for context, I was talking to this guy who, even though we never explicitly said that we were dating, we were not seeing other people. So basically, I don't know, I would think that we were loyal to each other,
Mhm.
okay? But then one day he blacked out, or so he says, and he made out with someone else that he knew prior. So that's what happened.
Can we throw in the fact that they're together now?
Oh yeah, and then I'm obviously not talking to the guy or with that guy anymore, but then like 2-3 weeks later they started dating or they're together and they've been together ever since. So honestly, it's in the past, thank God, but that's essentially what happened. So
Yeah, I consider that cheating.
Yeah, I would consider cheating. I just forgot that you guys actually were kind of exclusive.
Just for you, bro. Just for you.
honestly now when I think back to it, in the moment I was really obviously hurt and angry, like really, really angry, but now I'm like,
Glad that it happened.
yep. See, that's also why I test this theory because me, I was loyal to him or I potentially saw it going further. But I think for him, he was not truthful about where his emotions and his feelings lied. So in that state of mind of drunkenness, I think he let it happen.
Guys, if you're unsure about your feeling, just tell us. We're adults here. Don't have to beat around the bush and be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I want in my life. Like, dude, just fucking tell us.
I think this goes for both genders. It's so normal for you to be unsure about feelings. Don't think that it's a secret that you should keep from the other person. If anything, do them the justice of telling them, hey, I have feelings, but I'm also, you know, back and forth about it and talk about it instead of doing dumb shit like go make out with someone when you're blacked out, okay?
Yep.
Okay, next question. We talked a lot about, cheating and how it's a little bit of a gray area. Do you think it's ever forgivable? I could go first. So my first off answer was no, but then I had a shower thought and it just made me think more if cheating is ever forgivable. So this is obviously a very abnormal situation, but let's just say two people are in a really unhealthy relationship where either one of them is being maybe like physically abusive or even verbally abusive, just a very abusive relationship, and the other person finds comfort in a third person. And maybe that eventually leads to something else. I feel like in that situation, I would say it's forgivable because the original relationship was just so toxic and abnormal and unhealthy that one of them had to get out of it and was able to find comfort in someone else.
100% agree. I think in terms of being in a very, very toxic relationship to the point where it's physically abusive, it's forgivable because it's a tough situation to be in. You always need someone there for you, and sometimes it might just be another lover, and that's forgivable.
Dude, that's hard too because if someone is obviously a patterned cheater, it's in his or her blood, then of course, no, not forgivable, would never want to be around someone like you. But at the same time, I think it's very situation based, no? Knowing us three and knowing none of us have cheated, and let's say one of you did, and depending on the situation, I feel like I could forgive what you've done, you know?
So I said that it's only forgivable if the relationship was really abnormal, had a lot of issues. But I guess when Sharon put it that way, in the scenario, if any of us cheated, how will we react? Obviously, how you react to a friend and how you react to your friend's significant other is very different. So I guess if you guys cheated, damn, I don't know what to say. I'll just be like, you fucked up.
I would straight up say that too. I'd be like, you fucked up, but da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
But it's also just knowing us. One, we don't think we'll cheat. But two, let's just say in the case we do cheat, I feel like for us to do that, there has to be something wrong with the relationship.
But also, I feel like the only situation where we would potentially cheat is if we're blacked out somewhere. And I'm just gonna say that we're probably around each other when we're blacked out in most cases. So we wouldn't let each other cheat, you know? So I'd say it never happened.
Okay, at the same time, I think the word forgivable might be just more applicable to two people that are in the relationship. It's up to the other person to determine whether they forgive the person who cheated or not. Not necessarily like, oh, Vicky's boyfriend cheated on her, I forgive you.
That's
It's
true.
not up to me, it's up to Vicky to decide that.
Yeah, like for example, not domestic violence, not physical toxicity and stuff like that, or even verbally toxicity, but like just a normal healthy relationship. But let's say you dated for like, I don't know, 5 to 8 years and you hit this dryness in your relationship because it always happens. You hit this, okay, you guys are so comfortable and it's not like spicy anymore. And we're gonna do a Rachel and Ross situation from Friends. I know you guys don't watch it, but like they basically have a big argument and then one of them went out and did something with someone. And clearly you guys love each other, but is that forgivable? Would you forgive your significant other? Like, this is the love of your life. And they just had a drunken night mistake. And they come back and they're like, I'm so sorry. I did this, da 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 da. And
Tell me why I thought of Mark Twain.
name a podcast where she doesn't mention that name.
I haven't mentioned him for a while.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I don't ever want to be like, oh, I excuse cheating,
Yeah.
as nonchalantly as that sounds, because it's not excusable. But it's very, very dependent on each and every person's situation, which is why I'm hesitant to answer it a strict black and white yes or no. So, like, even in this situation, it's up to the girl, man.
See, I would just really hope this would never happen to me. I would never be in a situation. Because I feel like certain things in cheating is black and white, but there's so many things that makes cheating gray.
Yeah. Because even if those two people said, okay, we've hit this rough spot in our 8-year relationship, let's both take a break and see other people and then come back to each other, that's not considered cheating. But obviously, if one person makes that decision on their own or they go out and they make that decision, then it's considered cheating.
Yeah.
So that conversation just needs to be made in advance, I guess.
Agreed.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Would you guys date someone who has cheated before? I'm gonna surprise you guys with one. I did date a cheater before, and I think that situation was a gray area because he was on his way to break off that relationship when he did cheat.
Dude, if it's the love of my life and I'm also the love of his life, I feel like I could accept it, but obviously also understanding or seeing where that cheating came from. If I'm just starting out in a new relationship, yes, the person has cheated and that was a mistake in the past, but I also don't want to classify that for him. I would still want to give him a chance.
I think I ultimately have to know when it happened, why it happened, with who, where, how often, kind of thing. But even when he would have told me, that probably would have been an extremely big red flag, and I probably would be extremely hesitant moving forward. But it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think I've come to terms that if you have cheated, it doesn't make you a bad person. You just fucked up. Because I feel like I've met too many gray areas and it doesn't say anything about their characteristics unless they're like, oh, I did it and so what? But in terms of one-off situation, depending on what happened, it doesn't make you a bad person. You just fucked up. You made a bad decision.
Yeah. I think I'm also placing it like we know ourselves best, and if we ever cheated, we wouldn't want that to define who we are as a partner and as a person.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm going to say this over and over again. It's dependent on the person and what their characteristics and traits are.
Mhm. I feel like it does definitely put doubt in certain situations because I remember there's one time didn't like respond to me and he was with somebody that he had history with, and the whole day I was like, what the fuck is going on? You're not responding to my text, you're not telling me anything, I'm sussed. And so I feel like that's something you have to be very aware of. if you date someone who has cheated, it'll definitely put doubt in those situations when they're like not responding to you, where they're not giving you clear communication.
Okay, I have a question. So let's just say you're going out with like a bunch of friends and you guys are kind of close. You guys aren't the closest. And she or he has relationship problems and they're kind of like on a break. It's kind of gray area. And basically she or he is cheating in front of you and they go, don't tell the other person. What would you do? Would you just like let them do it or?
Oh shit. And they specifically said don't tell the other person?
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't do anything, even if they were in that gray area, because I don't know these two people that well and I could give less than 2 fucks.
No, but if it's with someone you're like not that close to, but you still are friends with, I think in that situation, I'm part of the problem where I know it's happening and I just turned a blind eye. And I think that would still guilt my subconscious. So I think in that situation, I would pull her.
Okay, the thing is, I feel like if I know both people in the relationship, then I would be a lot more inclined to do something about it because I know both people. But if I only knew the one person who's about to cheat or who is cheating, it really has to depend on one, my relationship with that person, and I feel like I'm not as inclined to pull the person away because I don't know the significant other.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I think I would just make it clear to them that they're doing something wrong. I'd be like, okay, this is wrong, but if you decide to fuck up your own relationship, it's not in my place to tell you not to, but I'm going to let you know that you're doing something fucked up. Well, that wraps up on our very circumstantial stances on cheating, and a fair disclaimer that what we said here is for here. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts on cheating and if it's ever forgivable. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.